Hello there, welcome to this very important playlist on mastering the major scales. This one is going to be in the key of C, and I'm going to use the major scale of C to give you the template for the future 11 videos. Each video is going to be a fourth higher, so we're going to go around the cycle of fourths. That's very important. Chords are based on fourth movements very often. You're going to master the scales at the piano, not in terms of speed, in terms of shape and orientation and feel, emotional connection, patterns, all these things. And then you're going to also move away from the piano and get the shape on your internal piano, because that's where it really exists. If you know it on your internal piano away from the piano, then you really do know it at the piano, because the piano is, of course, just an illusion. Now, I'm going to go through the structure using the major scale of C, so that's the first video, and hopefully this is going to help you. There's no fixed duration for the major scales, but eventually, if it takes you 3 months or three weeks, once you have the major scales down and you are totally orientated in all the 12 keys, you're going to be a very special kind of pianist, because I've communicated with many people over the years, and a lot of them who are very good piano players do not know the major scales. So you, as somebody who perhaps can't really play any repertoire yet, to know that you're starting on such a strong foundation is very important, and you're going to become an incredibly good pianist, very fluent as well. Many benefits to mastering the major scales before anything else, because everything comes from major scales. So first thing you're going to do is get the general shape. You can write these down. Every video is going to follow the same structure. I made sure to make my own notes for this. So first of all, get a general shape. So in the key of C. On the piano, we're very lucky because C major is just the white notes. But don't think about the piano keys as black and white notes. They're all numbers. And you're going to see why more and more as you master the major scales. This is not a white note. It's number 1 in the key of C. It's number 2 in B flat. It's number 3 in A flat, etc., etc. This is a number. It's not a white or black note. These could be multicolored. It doesn't matter. So for ease of conversation, I'm just going to say black and white, but not because they're anything special or important in terms of their color here. So C is all the white notes on the piano. There's not really much to say about the general shape. It's just all the white notes. But on the other ones, there will be more interesting shapes. Try to develop an emotional connection with the major scale that you're in. So C major, I have no particular emotional connection. It's the one that books use. It's the first one I learned, one of my first songs in for me, which was Do Re Mi, when I was very young. Before I actually started to properly play the piano, when I was maybe 6 or 7, I learned how to play that Do Re Mi, and I learned that in the key of C. That one. So that takes me, the major scale of C would take me back to that kind of Do Re Mi time when I was 6 at junior school. Are there any patterns? Not really. It's C major. It's very simple. Some people like to see C major as 3 notes below the 2 black notes and then 4 notes below the 3 black notes. So there is some kind of a pattern there, but find your own. Again, C major is a very simple one because it is just the white notes. The next thing that you're going to do in all of the videos is find your natural fingering. I'll quickly show you mine for 1 octave each hand, and then you can, if you want, go on to 2 octaves for each hand. But that's for you to do rather than me to demonstrate, because in the description box below there are many videos which will help you in addition to this one. I always like to give extra videos. One of them is my natural fingering, so enjoy that one. So you know how to make the major scale, I'm assuming. That would be to take any note and you're going to go up in whole steps and half steps. Half step is literally the next note, like this. Whether it's white or black, it doesn't matter. These are half steps, and then a whole step is 2 of those. And every scale has its own template. Major scale template is to start on a note and to go whole. Just remember this, it's the DNA of your music life. So we start on C. We're going to go whole, half, whole, and then half takes you back to the beginning again. So I'll do it once more, because some people really have no idea what this means. Half step is 1 note next to each other, whether it's black or white, and a whole step is 2 halves. So C to this note here is a half, and then from here, but jumping over that one to here is a whole. So you start on a note, you go whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Takes you back to the beginning. So that's C major. Now, how would I play that with my natural fingering? Well, once I've got the shape in my mind, general pattern, what it looks like, let's just see what natural fingering comes out. You have to experiment because hands are different. For me, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the same coming down. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. But I have a video on that in more detail. Now, a very good way to reinforce the shape at the piano is to jab the notes within an octave, and then to do it within 2 octaves to challenge yourself. So I'm going to start jabbing with the same fingers on each hand. You can do different fingers if you want, doesn't really matter. It would be nice if you did mix fingers around, but just using the index finger, I'm just going to press notes in any random order of the major scale that I'm in. Now, I'm not just looking at the white notes. I'm not just cheating and saying, oh, I'm in the key of C. That's just all these white notes. That's cheating. No, I'm seeing them as numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm not seeing random white notes being played everywhere. I'm seeing 6, 2, 7, 4, 6, 3, 2, 4, 6, 5, 3, 2. I'm seeing the numbers because I'm always orientated in the key that I'm in. I'm never lazy about losing the major scale of what I'm in at that moment. So do that. Jabbing is very, very good. And I'm going to do that in every video, in every key. Now, when you've done that and you've played around and you feel quite confident at the piano, leave the piano and try to reinforce that shape on your internal piano, away from the piano. If you know it in your mind, you can play it at the piano. If you don't know it in your mind, you can't play it at the piano. The piano is just an illusion. It all takes place in your mind. So can you see that shape in your mind? Go away. It might take a day or 2 or 3. It might take a week. Reinforce that shape. Just keep seeing it. But see it, jab like we did at the piano, but in your mind, with your mind's eye. Just imagine this is my mind's eye, and I'm zooming in here. Okay, I see. This is in. I'm zooming into different notes in the major scale of C in this example. That really reinforces in your mind that you know the shape. You're orientated in that key. A very good challenge is to name the notes backwards. Now that's only possible because we normally go left to right when we're reading music. The clock goes left to right. Chord progressions, we say move left to right. Numbering scales is left to right. So we naturally want to build a scale from the left to the right, but it's a good idea to try and build the scale down as well in your mind, away from the piano. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to see all 7 notes pop out at me. They just pop out, all 7 notes. This applies to all 12 keys, of course. It's just a bit easier on the white notes. So it's popping out into my eyes, and I can see in my mind the C major scale. And I'm going to try and say it backwards. So B, A, G, F, E, D, C. And I'm visualizing it. There's no memory involved. This is not a memory trick. It's pure visualization. So that's a very, very good thing to do. When you come back to the piano, I'm going to give you also the major and minor triads, which come from the major scale, because why not? And then I'm going to give you the 4 primary chord types. And then I'll just show you a few little technical exercises that you can do with each one. Now, each video is only going to last about 6 minutes or so. This one's a bit longer because it's the introduction video as well. But each video, the next 11, are going to be about 5 minutes or so. So you're going to come back to the piano and you're going to have that scale. You're going to see its general shape. You're going to have some kind of an emotional connection or some memory associated with that scale. It's going to make you feel a particular way. You're going to see patterns, and you're just going to really, really know that shape before you even touch it. Then you're going to find your natural fingering. Both hands, 1 octave, 2 octaves if you would like. And then you're again going to just reinforce that you know the scale by jabbing the notes in a random order, which deletes the other notes that you're not using because they're not in the scale. So it helps it to stand out. You're then going to leave the piano and reinforce it on your internal piano. Just keep seeing that shape. Try and name it backwards. Say some random notes. As you're going out, it's G there, D there, E, B, A, C, F, G, D, E, A, F, B. Just say them randomly to reinforce that shape and try to make it one. Not that you're building it left to right, because that's a delay. You don't want to do it like that. You want it to come out instantly at the same time. trying to label it backwards helps solidify the shape. You're going to come back to the piano and you're going to know the major and minor triads. A triad is 3 notes. A major triad is built from the 1st, 3rd and 5th of a major scale in the key of C, 1, 3, 5, C, E, G. And again, you can go away from the piano or even try to find them on your internal piano before you come back to the piano. Test your mind, trust your mind, it knows a lot more than you do. 1, 3, 5, major scale. The minor triad is 1 flat 3rd, 5, just 1 note difference. 1, 3, 5, 1 minor 5. Get that shape in your mind. Just do that, both hands. And just see it. Away from the piano, see it in your mind. C, E, G, C, E, G. Say it backwards, G, E, C. G, E flat, C. Really burn it into your mind. The 4 primary chord types are based on the triad. We'll take C major triad, we're in the key of C here, and they are, there's 2 with the major triad and there's 2 with the minor triad, and all you're doing each time is adding the 7 and the flat 7. Now don't get too lost here, it's all about the major scale, and since you know the major scale now, the shape so well, the numbers, this won't be too difficult. So C major 7 is telling you what to play. Play the 7 of the major scale, C major 7, 7 of major scale. It's in the title. C represents the triad, major 7, you know B is the 7. C major 7. C7 is when you just flatten the major 7, so we have C7. So these are the 2 options with a major triad. Well, there are many other chords, but these are the 4 primary chords, the ones that you'll play 99% of the time in every song you ever play. So master them with the major scales, why not? 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. And they sound different. Create an emotional connection. The major 7 sounds romantic, a bit sad, lonely. See, it's a bit of a downer chord. The C7 is more bluesy and happy. Now, those 2 7s, the major 7 and the dominant 7, can be played with a major triad and a minor triad. C major, C minor, C, E flat, G, 1 flat 3rd, 5, with the major 7, and we're going to call it what it is, C minor, major 7. And with this one, exactly the same thing, C minor, 7. Create an emotional connection again. C minor major 7 is very serious, startling. C minor 7 is very soft and nice and gentle. It's the most common sort of jazz chord, minor 7. And then you can put those 4 chords together. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor major 7. Try to get those into your brain, knowing that the minor major 7, the one I'm playing right now, is the least common of the 4, but is still a chord type, still one of the 4 primary chord types. And I have videos below on all the chords. Now, let me give you a few exercises for the scales and the triads, and then you can eventually move on to video 2, which will be the key of F, because we're going around the cycle of 4th, C to F to B flat to E flat to A flat, etc., etc. So a nice one to do is arpeggios for the chords. Now an arpeggio is where you play 3 or more notes of the chord. So let's take the major and minor triads. So we'll take the major, C, E, G. You can do this with one hand, both hands, your choice. C, E, G. And the idea is to simply play that in each octave. So maybe start down here. I'm going to go C, E, G, C, E, G, like this. Now, as you jump from one octave to the next, there'll probably be a space, a delay, as you get your hand coming up like this. And of course, you can imagine that it would sound nicer if that delay wasn't there. How is that possible? It's all about the precision of your thumb. When you finish playing the G, or the 5th note, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, when you finish playing that 5, you need to make sure that your thumb jumps onto that C very quickly. Now, how do you do that? The precision is in the octave. It's all about the octave. So one of your exercises would be to play octaves from any note. Let's do it from the middle black note. And just get used for your arm muscle, up at your shoulder, to just get used to what an octave, which is eight notes in the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in any key, and just get used to that octave. Let's do it from an E. Just get used to how far that jump is, because once you've got that jump very precise, it will help you to play arpeggios very quickly. So look, if I go 1, 2, 3, or let me say the numbers of the major scale, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, I have to land on the C with my thumb. So my thumb needs to jump from that C to that C, which is that octave jump. The other two notes in the chord are secondary. They won't be correct unless the thumb lands on the correct note first. So the secret is in that octave jump precision. And that's a nice exercise to do. Play the chord and stop on the octave. 1, 3, 5, 1, 1, 3, well, I should say 1, 3, 5 octave, 1, 3, 5 octave. Try to get used to doing that, so that there's no difference between the G and the new C. Like that, and eventually you can do it fluently, and you won't miss the octave. Even going down, the precision is on the middle finger, G, 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 G. It has to be the middle finger which is precise. So do that octave jump with the middle finger, and do it with the ring finger. Let's do it from E flat. It's all about the octave precision and just feeling it. And of course I've done that millions of times, because I naturally can feel it quite well, as will you. So that's a very nice thing to do. The major scale, another nice one to reinforce the major scale, is to play in twos or threes. Let me give you an example in twos. Any two fingers, any hand, both hands, separate hands, your choice, personalize. I'll take the index finger and the middle finger, and you're just going to play 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, and then 7, 8 if you want. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, like this. And you can do it descending. Or you can do it in this way, like a sort of jumping horse, galloping horse rather. Try it with the other two fingers. Let's try with the middle finger and the ring finger, but threes this time, so also the little finger. Like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The point is, it's reinforcing the shape, plus getting a bit of finger work out there. So that's quite a nice one to do as well. And you can do that by alternating your fingers. So maybe going C, C, D, D, E, E, like this. But when you start to get to the keys which have more black notes in them, you have to really know the pattern very well to be able to do that. So although it looks easy on C, that's just because it's the white notes for us. That's kind of what each video is going to include. Don't rush and try to follow this sequence. I'll just give it to you once more very quickly. General shape, emotional connection, patterns, find your natural fingering, 1 octave or 2 octaves, both hands together or independently. Try jabbing at the chord to really enforce the shape, which gets harder with different keys because the shapes are more complex. Leave and reinforce it on your internal piano. Try to name the scale backwards in your mind, because that really proves that you know it. You want the 7 notes to pop out, independent of the other notes. Then come back to the piano and identify, or on your internal piano as well, try to identify 1, 3, and 5. You'll be amazed actually if you can do this in your mind, and then when you come to the piano you'll just see it. That's a very exciting moment when we're in a more sort of, I don't like to say advanced, but a less common key like D flat. To know that you know that scale of D flat and that you've worked out the major triad and the minor triad in your mind before having ever played it on the piano, and then you just come to the piano and you go, right, it's my D flat today, my D flat day today, and I've already worked out that that's the major and that's the minor. It just feels great to be able to do that, to start to trust your mind. As I said, it knows more than you do. And then get the 4 primary chord types, which includes major minor triads with the major 7 and the dominant 7. Of course, ask questions below if you want me to clarify anything. And then just try and personalize a few technical exercises for the major scale in that particular key, for the chord and the scale. Arpeggios, even staying in one place, just like this. I just slow that down, I'm playing the same thing with both hands. You can, I don't know, personalize, like do a different timing for each one. I'm just spontaneously thinking of these. So you might kind of do something like, let me just see how this would come out. Something like that. So it's different time. Something like that, for example. You might want to just go something like that. So I'm doing that rapid arpeggio thing, but slowly playing, and then of course go through minors and sevens, major sevens, dominant sevens. Personalized, that's all I'm saying. And we're going to go through all 12 keys. So this is a very special playlist. Once and for all, you're going to have these mastered, and it's all about patterns, emotional connections, absolute orientation, absolute mastery in the mind. It's not about speed. It's just about seeing the shape and being able to play in it. Then you can identify other scales, you can improvise, you can remember chord progressions very easily. If you want to compose, it will be a lot easier because you'll have much more awareness of patterns and connections and shapes and all these things. You can transpose pieces instantly. You won't be put off by any piece in any key because you'll know it perfectly. You can find chords, you can play jazz, you can improvise, you can understand modal theory, jazz chord extensions. Everything comes from major scale mastery. So I hope you enjoy this playlist. This was C. The other ones will be a lot shorter than this, so don't worry. And good luck. Do please post your progress. As always, likes, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Have a look at my books, blog, and podcast. Be sure to press the bell for notifications. See you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.